Hey guys, and welcome back to another video and another sneak peek as well. This time we have the new siege machine which we're taking a look at, and I will try to explain you guys how the new siege machine works, what are the armies you should use with the new siege machine, and everything around, like all of the statistics, everything you need to know to use this new siege machine in the December update. Yesterday we already saw, okay, the next update is going to be Townhall 13, and today we know Townhall 13 will bring another siege. What exactly is this siege basically, like what is this doing? The siege is basically an old clan castle, but in addition to that you always gain extra troops, which means you're placing the siege barracks wherever you want on the map where you can place troops. Basically like the old clan castle without the siege machine. Which means that you cannot obviously place it in the middle of the base or whatever. You need to place it somewhere where you can place troops. And as soon as you did that, there will be one P.E.K.K.A. and a couple of wizards coming out. And as soon as the time runs out, you can have your normal CC as well. If you want to, you can obviously activate the new siege earlier, and your troops will come out earlier as well. But that's up to you and up to the situation you want to use it. What you're looking out for when you try to use the siege machine are huge trash areas. But what exactly does this mean? It means when there are a lot of buildings on the outside which normally do not have any purpose, like storages, collectors, gold mine, I don't know, stuff like this, barracks, whatever, then you can easily use the siege machine because you're getting gifted a couple of troops basically for this army. One of the strongest armies you can use in combination with the new siege is going to be the Ice Golem, the Witch, and the Boulder strategy with the Earthquakes. Why is that the case? Pretty simple, because in this army composition, the old siege machines were not really fitting. You had like a ram or whatever, you had better funneling, but since the new siege is like a god at funneling, then you don't need any more of the RAM. So this new strategy, or like this strategy, is the best which you can use if you want to use the new siege machine. I will show you guys a couple of other strategies which are pretty good with the new siege machine as well. And I think you guys will come up with a lot of new crazy stuff as well. On this attack, you guys see it's really easy for the earthquake army overwhelming the base. And there are so many troops at the bottom because you're getting basically gifted around 50 troop space, which is a crazy amount of troops when you consider that you can choose your own your own clan castle and get the new troops gifted, which basically means you're getting over 300 troop space of an army. This is completely crazy, and like I said, if you have those really huge areas around your base where you do not really want to invest anything on your own to funnel, this new siege machine is perfect for that. But let's take a look at a couple of other options how to use the siege. Another option is basically to use it for kill squads. I think it will replace the RAM for a lot of trophy pushing, for Legend League attacks for example, or even war, because what this new siege machine is doing, it's sending out the P.E.K.K.A. with the wizards to funnel one side. The other side can be funneled with, I don't know, like another P.E.K.K.A., wizards, whatever. And then you can put into the siege itself bowlers, which will transfer over into your main kill squad, like I'm doing right now. Then you're using the Warden ability for the Town Hall, and you're getting the push into the core using 2 rages and a jump spell. That's basically how you can do new kill squads as soon as Town Hall 13 is hitting the live servers. It's basically pretty simple because one of the sides is already funneled due to the P.E.K.K.A. and the other side is pretty easily funneled with one of your P.E.K.K.A. on your own, or even a Baby Dragon, which is totally up to you. Then you have 3 heal spells overall to make sure that your Warden is following your Hawk Riders, for example, and is completely overkilling the base. We can see it in this replay where we have the Hawk Riders smashing and going through the base, hitting everything, and we still have 2 heal spells left. The Queen just took out both of the Inferno Tower, and so far this attack looks pretty good. So once again, let's take a step back and get once again on the topic of the siege machine. We can use it for the Ice Golem, Witch, Earthquake, and Boulder strategy for funneling, and we can use it for kill squads for funneling as well. But at the same time, we're transitioning the bowlers which were in the siege machine basically into our kill squad, saving at least one P.E.K.K.A. for funneling on its own, which means it's a buff like 5 or even up to 8 Hawk Riders, which we can bring more in our Hawk Rider part compared to the earlier days. Obviously, we could bring, I don't know, like a Ram or a Slammer, but normally if you're using the Hawk Riders, the new Siege is the better option. But now let's get back to P.E.K.K.A. Smash. I think P.E.K.K.A. Smash is going to be a really strong option on Townhall 13. And for all of you guys who like those double Electro Dragon funnel things for P.E.K.K.A. Smash, the new Siege machine is replacing those pretty easily. You do not really need a Slammer or even a Ram. You can do this with a double jump as well, and then just let your P.E.K.K.A. do the job. On this one, we have the double jump in place, we are using the Rage, and since you do not really need anything to support your Siege, like in the earlier P.E.K.K.A. Smash days, which means you brought the Slammer, you brought the Haste and the Freeze spell for the Slammer, which basically means those two spells are free to use from now on, which means you can easily bring a heal spell, especially against those multi-inferno towers for the backend, against your bowlers. It's really helpful to have them in place. For example, on this attack, I think most of my bowlers would have been probably already dead without the healers covering the entry of all of the Inferno Tower damage. Which means we have so many bowlers alive in the back end of the base, which normally is never the case. On this one, we have still quite some P.E.K.K.A. alive and obviously our Queen as well. From now, just speed it forward because you already know this is going to be another triple. Like I said, this strategy is super powerful and you do not really need any complicated queen walks whatsoever, and it's pretty simple to execute. But if you think, well, there's still a couple of more options to use the new Siege, then you're damn right. Because we have another option with the Electro Dragons, and those guys are, those troops are really strong as well in combination with the new Siege. The big issue with the Electro Dragons was most of the time that your Slammer, for example, took away or like got rid of the defenses or buildings which your Electro Dragons were about to hit, which means the bounces of the Electro Dragons were basically useless. On this one, you can use the new Siege to funnel on one side and then your heroes on the other side. As soon as the Siege, or like the Siege troop, the Siege Barracks troop, which came out like the P.E.K.K.A. and the Wizards, did their job funneling, then you can put, I don't know, like loons, dragons, whatever in there what would like to go. And one more thing as well, you can use the Siege for tanking as well, which basically means you can put the Siege in front of defenses and that will target the Siege machine, or like the Siege Barrack, and will tank for the P.E.K.K.A. for example. So I think this is a really good option as well to consider. And at the same time, we're smashing this base with our Electro Dragons because none of the Electro Dragons went on the outside. The upper side got funneled by our Siege Barracks, the bottom side got funneled by our Queen and the King, and this means all of the Electro Dragons are getting pushed into the core, which basically means this is going to be a really nice triple for us. So let's get back. Using the new Siege for funneling is the best thing you can do with this new Siege, and obviously all of the strategies which were not really having the perfect use of the old Siege machines, those strategies are better with the new one. For example, like I said, the Ice Golem and Witch Boulder Earthquake strategy, which is like the best example for this. Because the old Siege machines were not really fitting, and this means the new Siege machine is fitting way better. For example, on the other hand, we had Queen Changelalo, where for example, this Siege machine is complete, like, do not use it with Queen Changelalo. A Slammer is way more powerful if you combine with that strategy, and which means the Siege machine is really viable. I don't know yet whether it's one of the most used Siege machines or in the middle, but I don't think that it would replace the Blimp as the, I don't know whether it's the worst Siege machine, but not used as often as other Siege machines. So I hope I was able to show you guys a nice diversity of different attack strategies with the Siege. You guys can see in the background the statistics once again. Overall, up to 12 Wizards and 1 P.E.K.K.A. All of those numbers can still change since this is the developer version, which basically means we're allowed to show you guys as YouTubers and highlight the new stuff. But once again, we always should highlight as well that those numbers can still change until the update actually hit the live servers. Let me know how you guys would use the new Siege machine. What would be your army composition of choice to go with the new Siege machine, and what would you try first to use the new Siege? What would you use in your Siege machine itself? Would you use, like I did, witches, or would you consider something else? Let me know down below in the comments. And whenever you want to be updated about the newest sneak peeks, about the newest stuff, the newest armies in Clash of Clans, well, follow this channel and make sure to subscribe to it. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye bye.